Hi, I'm Dr. Brett Bainham. I'm a pediatric orthopedic surgeon practicing with the Palm Beach Orthopedic Institute in Palm Beach County. As a pediatric orthopedist, I often encounter and treat children who have scoliosis and other related spinal deformities. One of the limitations or drawbacks of our conventional treatments is that management of severe scoliosis requires large operations which ultimately end up fusing large segments of the spine. This renders that segment of the spine forever more immobile. In an effort to try to improve upon some of these unwanted consequences associated with long fusions, we're developing methods that allow us to manage scoliosis surgically without fusing the spine. One such emerging trend is what we call scoliosis tethering or scoliosis stapling. This takes advantage of some of the natural growth characteristics of the spine. So in the case of scoliosis, we are adding implants with a flexible cable or staple which provides compressive forces on the long or convex side of the curve, thus slowing the growth on that side. That not only will prevent the spine from curving more, but in many cases will achieve meaningful correction, which is not achievable with other non-operative measures of controlling scoliosis. One illustrative case is a patient of mine, Lilly Cardone. Lilly presented to me approximately 2 years ago. At that time, she had a moderately severe curve, but based on her remaining growth and potential for further progression, we estimated that she was at high risk for ultimately needing a spinal fusion.
I had recently started coming to doctors for hip problems because it started to hurt when I was walking, and they took an x-ray of my hip and they noticed the bottom of my spine was curved. So then we came to Dr. Bainham and realized that I needed surgery. Dr. Bainham, he's great. He's so friendly, he's so kind, he knows exactly what he's doing, and you can just tell by talking to him that he knows everything about the procedure. Every question that my mom asked, and she asked a lot of questions, he was able to answer all of them without hesitation.
We introduced her and her family to the idea of growth modulation. She underwent the procedure, a tethering of her thoracic curve and a stapling of her lumbar curve back in October of 2013. On her most recent follow-up, roughly 16 months post-operatively, she's done very well. She's pain-free. She's returned to all of her normal activities, and thus far we've achieved an approximate 50% improvement in her thoracic curve and approximately a 30% improvement in the lumbar curve.
A few benefits as a result of my surgery were I can still do everything I could do before the surgery, whereas if you get the fusion, you're very limited in your movements. But with this, you can go on roller coasters, you can jump on trampolines, and you're still correcting at the same time.
Another example case is a young man, Daniel Bordenga. Similar to Lilly Cardone, Daniel presented to us with a moderately severe curve, skeletally immature with an estimate of 3 or 4 years of spinal growth remaining.
Well, the story starts with my mom. I had somewhat of a cold and she wanted to listen to my back and see if I was wheezing. She put her ear to my back and then she told me, "Daniel, stand up straight." I'm like, "I am standing up straight." And she's like, "Oh my God, your back's not straight." And that's why she's like, "We need to do something about this."
We discussed with his family the options which would be more conventional, such as brace treatment. I also introduced them to the idea of the emerging trend of growth modulation, which we consider to be in part a form of internally bracing the spine.
And he was explaining these things, I was like so intrigued. I'm like, "So you're gonna wrap this thing around my spine, you're gonna put bolts in it, and my spine's gonna become straighter?" Like, I didn't really get the concept. And he told us like, this is like a new kind of surgery, not that many people really had it. The surgery itself, like thinking about it, it didn't really make me nervous. It was just kind of a new thing, so I was just a tad bit like, weirded out. It was kind of cool though.
It's been approximately 2 years, and thus far he's doing wonderfully, pain-free, returned to normal activities as well, and his curve magnitude now measures 13 degrees, and it was 42 degrees preoperatively.
Scoliosis and stuff is a common thing. We need to do more like research on it and stuff. And I think this almost like experiment of a surgery was like really good for me and stuff. It'll probably help a lot of people.
I'm considered an early adopter, though not the earliest adopter of this emerging trend in scoliosis management. We have a lot to learn. We understand that from a theoretical standpoint, the benefit of performing a minimally invasive procedure and avoiding a large complex procedure that involves fusing large segments of the spine is certainly ideal. It will be many years in the future before we'll understand all of the nuances of this procedure, but I think this is a trend that's here to stay, and I feel very fortunate to have an opportunity to be one of the participants in helping drive the momentum for introducing this to the community of spine surgeons at large.